So the transition week is very well underway. Of course, I had isometrics on Monday, dynamics yesterday, but it was time to take things up a notch today with Accelerator. This is a 30-minute, obviously, cardio routine that moves at two speeds, fast and faster. I guess it's a form of interval training, except unlike something like Insanity, you're doing things at a regular intensity for maybe 15 to 20 seconds before increasing the speed and intensity for the next 15 to 20 seconds, and then going back. I find it interesting how this week is set up, different than recovery weeks in previous programs, as you have 2 days with fairly high intensity workouts, those being today and with Accelerator, and then Friday with CVX. Of course, you have lower intensity routines in between though, like isometrics, dynamics, Pilates, and yoga, so it's an interesting mix. So this routine is made up of 20 exercises that last about 1 minute each. There are quick breaks in between each as Tony explains the next move, but only one real break at the halfway point. Like I said earlier, one of the primary characteristics of this workout is that most of the exercises are done at a normal speed intensity. And at a certain point during them, you pick up that speed and intensity or accelerate. The subtitle for X3 is Extreme Fitness Accelerated. After all, right? As far as the moves themselves, there's a nice variety of cardiovascular exercises in this routine. Not a ton of plyometric type exercises, but some. And not just working with your legs. We start off with a few vinyasas, then the twist and pivot, which appears in most of the X3 warm-ups anyway, and then start getting into things. So how exactly does the acceleration happen? Well, for example, one of the first moves is called foot pursuit. It's essentially running in place, with knees a little high and arms pumping. Cheek to cheek, face to butt, at a regular speed. But at about 15 seconds, Tony tells you to pick up the speed, which you then do for another maybe 15 seconds before going back to get a regular speed. Forces you to work harder for a short interval and gets your heart rate up higher. And since you don't get much of a chance to recover before picking it up again, your heart rate stays pretty high. This concept is used in probably 75% of the exercises, while the rest have some other variation, such as with get up, get down, which is literally getting down into a plank and getting back up, in which the intensification is to add push-ups when you get down. That's right, push-ups. There's a surprisingly high amount of time spent on the ground and in various planks in this routine. Not something you necessarily expect in something that's supposed to be a cardio workout, but it keeps that heart rate high, forces you to work on your core, and also works different muscle groups that many cardio exercises do. Perhaps my favorite of these moves was swimmer's planks. This exercise had you get down in a plank position and simulate swimming, with one arm stroking forward while the opposite leg lifted up. Eventually, you had to do a backstroke, but the whole time lifted the opposite leg. Killer exercise in the shoulders. Worked the core like crazy, great balance exercise, and kept my heart rate above 160. Not anything remotely like most traditional cardio exercises, but certainly gets the job done. Basically, this routine moves quickly, gets and keeps your heart rate pretty high, forces you to work your entire body, not just the legs, incorporates some balance, and doesn't have a ton of high-impact stuff in it. So overall, I think Accelerator is a nice complement to many of the X3 routines I've done. It's a pretty straightforward concept, and while many of the exercises are non-traditional, it's a more traditional type of workout than something like CVX and Agility X. I love the differing intensity levels. Kept my heart rate high, but allowed me to feel like I was getting a little break in between the harder parts. Worked on balance and range of motion, which are some of Tony's favorite things, of course, and some great core work in there as well.